All right, I'm going to walk you through the different levels of how you can perform a dead bug. So we're going to start with level 1. You're going to lay on your back, knees bent, feet still in contact with the floor. You want to make sure that there's not a huge gap underneath your back. So you want to make sure that you scoot yourself and position yourself to try to flatten that back as best as possible. For those of you who are working on having a rib cage flare, you may want to roll up a small towel and place it underneath that gap that usually appears when you lay back to give you a reminder to keep the bottom of the ribs flat on the ground, so that you have something to push against to engage that part of your core a little bit more. So with level 1, lower abs and rib cage engage, so that way the rib cage is flattened down. Always check if you take a deep breath, you should feel that the back of the rib cage is opening into the floor when you take a nice inhale in with your nose. So as the core is engaged, what you're going to do is arms can be stretched up. Sometimes I like with a free hand on the belly to make sure that my core remains engaged and I'm not allowing a bulge to occur during the exercise. But what you're going to do is you're going to stretch opposite arm, opposite leg away from the body. The goal is I'm not just straightening my leg and laying it down. I'm really extending both arms and legs away from my body, almost as if I'm pushing both my hand and leg and stretching it towards the opposite walls. As I'm doing that, I'm really keeping my core engaged, and I'm not letting, especially the arm as it's stretching back, I'm not letting it arch my back off of the floor. So I'm really making sure that I'm bringing the ribs down. You're going to take a deep breath as you're fully extended to check that the back is actually aligned and that you're able to breathe still into the ground. And then you'll alternate, stretching away. If you're finding that it's hard to maintain your core contraction, or if you're starting to arch, during the hardest part of the movement, whether it's extending and reaching, or if you're bringing back, when the arch is occurring, I'm going to recommend that you really let out a nice good exhale during that hardest part, that you find that it's hard to stick to the ground, to help you engage your core a little bit more. So that's going to be our level 1 dead bug. Level 2, what you're going to do is you're actually going to start off with legs off of the ground. So this is our level 2 dead bug. Same thing though, is that I need to make sure that when I take a deep breath, my back still expands into the ground and then lower abs are engaged and there's no bulging. And the same thing is that I can keep both arms outstretched, but if I have a free arm, I may choose to have it rest on my belly so that when I extend, I can check whether or not I'm allowing my abdomen to bulge, which is what we're trying to avoid. And then you'll come back into our start position. So I always want my knee over my hip as best as possible, and then I'm extending out. And then I alternate. So that's going to be our level 2 dead bug. Level 3, we're going to add a little bit of like a cross body action. Here, I'm not going to really alternate anymore. I could, but let's not overcomplicate it. I'm just going to do one arm and leg and do one set, and then I'll change into the other arm and leg. So what we're going to do is we're going to get into that advanced tabletop position, and then I'm going to have one arm out reach. But let's say I'm extending my right arm and my left leg. So I'm going to take my left arm and I'm going to press it into my right leg. And so I'm bringing my knee in hand and I'm pushing against each other, but I'm not allowing my knee to really change its position. But there is tension going through my leg and into my arm. So core is engaged, ribs are down. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to add that little press so we have that cross body engagement. And I'm going to extend my opposite arm, opposite leg. And we'll come back up. Okay, so that's going to be our level 3 advanced dead bug with that cross body isometric.